Welcome to Methadoniacs Dose 2. We'll call this the post-COVID addiction edition. I'm still not completely feeling great yet, but I'm getting there. Today I wanted to talk about split dosing. I say so many times I've got to stop myself. Anyway, I want to talk about split dosing today because it is something that can be very helpful for a lot of people, especially if you're taking methadone for pain, maybe pain and recovery reasons, whatever your reasons are. But if it's pain, I had a bad car accident, and that's what stuck me on methadone in the first place. I was being prescribed it. So I was taking it more than once a day. You know, when you're being prescribed it, you don't just take it once a day. So I needed to split dose. And this was because I felt like I needed to take half in the morning and then 12 hours later get that other half so that there wouldn't be like breakthrough pain. And it's still the same amount of dose every day. If it's 200 milligrams, 100 in the morning and 100 in the evening is still going to be 200 milligrams in that day, obviously. So when it came down to taking it for pain, my clinic had a lot of really strict options on being able to do it. Like they had a protocol, you had to go give blood after you dosed, and then the next day go give blood before you dosed so they could see the half-life and how much is still in your system in the mornings and things like that. And I was under by 0.02 and could not be split dosed. Now at this time I was already getting some take homes, so instead of getting the split dose, I did what I wasn't supposed to do and split dosed myself. And since I was at the point where I wasn't really getting high off methadone anymore, I didn't feel anything when I took it. I just felt normal. It didn't feel any different. I just felt like I did if before I ever, got on drugs. You're not getting high anymore. You're at a blocking dose, maybe between 60 and 80, where you can't even get high on opiates anymore, except for maybe fentanyl, because, it's pretty strong. And I've still got high on fentanyl while being on 150 milligrams of methadone. So, split dosing was something my clinic, like I guess it's Florida rules is what they keep telling me. Florida regulations. We probably have the highest percent of how much you pay every day. I mean, especially so places that up north and stuff that'll give it to you free every day or at $2 a day, and you're down here making a car payment or more every month for a Bentley, like just to go to the clinic if you don't have insurance, which a lot of us don't. But anyway, so I started taking it as the split dose for the pain, so I would stop having breakthrough pain, because I would wake up every night after 21 hours of dosing and be in total agony from my spinal stenosis, and also I have really bad arthritis in my back. I couldn't take it. It's like no matter what dose they put me on, it always stopped like right at the 21st hour. So I started split dosing myself and I felt so much better. It was like, when you get your first morning dose and you always feel like, even before it kicks in, you already feel like it's kicked in. Like you just feel like, oh, okay, got it now. It's kind of like taking that shot of that really good liquor you like or something at first. Well, at least it was for me. I've been on and off it several times through the last 22 years. So you can imagine I've been on it, off it, and I was off it while I was in prison, but I was still buying it, and let's let go of that. But okay, so I started taking it for split dosing. It really did help with the breakthrough pain. It also gave me that second jolt of boost in the evening. So I could take it in the morning, go to work. When I get off work, boom, that second dose hits me. I'm ready to cook dinner. I'm ready to get the house clean, ready to get the kids to bed. And then by 10 o'clock at night, I'm ready to fall out. And it worked really good for me. I suggest it if you have that opportunity or option that you do it. It got to the point where I was only going to the clinic once a month, so I could pretty much split dose every single day, except the one day they bring me in once a month. But there was a lot of benefits from it, and it it's basically, I would say, take it if or do that if you're at the point where you're not getting high off methadone anymore. You've reached that state where you just want to maintain. You're not trying to go up, you're not trying to go down for now. You just want to maintain. Maybe when you do want to go down, you'll go down a little at a time on both ends instead of just a drop in the morning. You do like a 10 milligram drop here and a 10 milligram drop there, whatever you choose. But anyway, so it does have a lot of benefits, but a lot of people don't have access to it, especially if you can't get take homes. Um, when I got to the point that I wasn't getting high anymore, I wasn't, selling pills anymore, I wasn't needing to hang out at the clinic and socialize with people anymore, and it was strictly go there, get my medicine, leave. Not hanging out with people there anymore, not shooting the shit with people there anymore, getting my medicine and leaving. There was nothing in my life that I needed to take that whole dose at once. So I split it, and I thought it was great. Who doesn't want that second pump in the evening when you come home from work? I mean, I know there's got to be people out there, especially ones that work manual labor, even in this Florida heat, that would love to come home and have a dose to come home to. And you still have your half your dose in you because of the half-life lasting 24 hours. There's never a 24-hour period where your dose is lower. If you're 200 a day, it's going to be 200 a day whether you split it or not. And I just really recommend it. It really did help me in a lot of things. And I know it's kind of gross to think about, but it did help me with some of the side effects of methadone. Let's say some of the grittier side effects we might not want to talk about so much, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up as an option for some people. And I'm not saying it worked for everybody, everybody's different. A lot of it is psychological, and you mind fuck yourself 1,000 times a day. I do it, and I know a lot of people that do it. So we're definitely not innocent for doing that. The psychological part of it was the hardest for me when dealing with it, trying to tell my mind that a lot of these things really don't even have to do with methadone, the things that I was going through. Instead of thinking all the time it was the methadone doing it, and I had to get out of that mindset and till I was ready to detox. And that's when I made that video several years ago. I went through a really easy, simple detox. I mean, it took a while and I had to follow a lot of restrictions, but I had detoxed so many times, and so many times it was awful. And the last time the last time I detoxed off methadone was that video, and I had already had in my mind everything I knew I was going to need to do to make this as easy as possible. And like, I was prepared for like Hurricane 5, and it was like barely a tropical storm even. but I had to work hard to get to that point. I didn't just jump off. You know, I went down to 4 milligrams. I jumped off at 4. I figured jumping off at 2 and jumping off at 4 is pretty much going to be the same. When I jumped off at 20 and I jumped off at 150, it was the same. I was just as sick both times. So, but getting down to 4, you know, it took a while and it took hard work, and I was able to get off of it, and it was fairly simple. But the roads in our life travel many paths. And like so many times before, I chose the wrong path and got myself in trouble again. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe I'm going to be one of those lifers that have to just take it for the rest of my life because of pain, but also because of just the mental issues I have with it. But I know like a methadone can cause a long QT in your heart, which is actually a signal in your brain. I have long QT syndrome, so it can make my QT in my heart even more elongated. And so I had a cardiac arrest and was on life support for quite some time after the defibrillator thing. But when, see, I just lost my train of thought again. At cardiac arrest, it burned out part of my short-term memory in my brain. Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Okay, so after I had the cardiac arrest, they had realized that giving me an opiate actually made it better because my withdrawal was actually making my QT even longer. Like, yes, methadone can make it elongated, but my withdrawal was making it even worse. And so they took me to the hospital because I couldn't stop getting sick. And I guess at some point I dropped dead. But I am very glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here. Sometimes I have second thoughts on that one, but I'm glad to be here. And I'm glad to be here with you guys and have an outlet for my crazy bipolarness and maybe entertain you with my ridiculous rants. Have a good day.